The truth of the matter is that we are the builders of this movement. We are the ones in the streets risking our lives going against the system. We are the policy creators and ground shakers. We are the ones who organize the survival programs and mutual aid for our people. We are the ones doing the educating, revolutionizing, and transforming of the masses. We are the ones that give every hashtag meaning, purpose, and direction. And we are the ones who will lead us into a future where freedom is not only possible, but our reality. The time has come for us to evolve from where our lives matter to where our lives are truly free. Welcome to the Black Freedom Movement.
What up, though?
Peace, family. Peace.
Had to try to get situated.
Tell us about it.
Same here.
Trying to get situated.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here with you, brother.
Same.
I missed you last week.
Right.
Yeah, man, it was hectic. You know how it go up here in Ferguson. This shit stress on 1,000. So
now we understand.
Trying to keep my mind good.
Well, good to see you smiling. Right. Always great to see that.
For sure. I'll let y'all kick it off.
Okay.
Well, I guess we're gonna. Peace, family. Thank you for joining us on another Thursday liberation session. Well, I guess we're gonna get right into our first part of our segment is the check-ins. So I guess I'll start with how my week went. So my week has been great. School has been very productive. I'm very excited about school this year. We've been doing some new things, and the students are just ready to work. So, like I said, as an educator, I always appreciate that good work ethic. So I appreciate our parents and all our supporters and our students for just making it really, really easy and fun for us this year. Personally, things have been great. I'm looking forward to our sister having her healing workshop this weekend. Looking forward to seeing our people there, and always glad to be here with y'all on Thursdays. So my week has been great, and I'm glad to be here with y'all on another Thursday. So thank you.
I say. Um, Likewise, my week has been good, very busy, very productive. Like I said, I'm glad to be here in this space, to be able to share this information and maybe, spark some thought within our people. Our ultimate goal here is getting free. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be in this space. Uh, how was your week, Tori? How you feeling over there?
I'm cool or whatever. Doing on the socials, jumping around on the socials, trying to make sure everything is sent out. Um, today today good. Like I said, I hit y'all up to do the homeschool joint, so that's where we at. That's where we at on the homeschool. It's been cool doing the baseline, the diagnostics, and making sure see where everybody at. A year off, a year just not really being deep and intensely into the education. Monday was tough. Monday commemorates the 5-year anniversary of the killing of a local freedom fighter, King Darren Seals, who was killed here in Ferguson, who was set up by somebody he knew, shot, tied up in the back of his Jeep, and then driven about 5 miles and burned in his car. So try to help his mother and do some things and try to make sure his legacy still live on and try to continue to work. So it's been up and down, but these Thursdays, all this organizing, more building and more membership, getting a little bit more strategic, getting into the community more across the world, keeping me up. So that's where I'm at on that.
I say. I say. Well, it is a somber time this week, and I remember some of the comrades coming from Mobile to do security at his funeral. I definitely remember that time vividly. Also today we commemorate the Attica Rebellion, at least the beginning of it. We just want to take some time to commemorate those brothers who gave their lives in that rebellion. Those brothers who were able to articulate what revolutionary actions entail, right? So they were able to get on TV and articulate their demands. They were able to, their actions showed that it was a revolutionary act versus a criminal act. And too many times the media turns our revolutionaries into criminals, So again, man.
Revolutionary salute.
Yes,
To
sir.
everyone
Yes,
in
sir.
the, Attica uprising, I say.
Long live the dragon.
Right. Right.
So today, so again, I guess before we jump into our topic, we want everybody to share. We want everybody to like, subscribe, comment, all that wonderful stuff. We definitely want some more momentum for this organization. We really trying to build a Pan-African organization that embodies the spirit of Pan-Africanism. So again, man, we here, me and Z, we in our beginning stages with this organization as far as being in public. So y'all bear with us and y'all help us.
He's so serious.
Y'all doing a good job though.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And now
Some of people, one thing y'all don't know is people hit us up before, hella early, or after. And they be like, send that to me. Or on Twitter, they really be making comments and really be kind of like thinking about some stuff. So I just wanted to give you that feedback and let y'all know y'all doing good. You know, it's all right.
Thank you.
So this time next year we're gonna be smooth. We're gonna have a bomb camera. We're gonna be straight. We're gonna be straight.
Some special guests.
Only with the support of our people. Only with the support of y'all can we do this.
Ubuntu.
Right. Because we are. So these next couple of weeks we're gonna be talking about our 4 pathways with the IBFA, which are the ballot, the bullet, the boat, and the buck. If you've been following us, you know what those 4 pathways entail. So each week we want to dive into one of those pathways. And I say pathways, meaning how can you start your, what can you do for the movement, right? And some people may say, I'm into economics. We got a pathway for you. Put you over here on a book. You start facilitating things that way, throwing ideas around, so on and so forth. Some brothers and sisters
in the politics
may say, it's, I'm into politics. I'm into electoral politics. And that's what we're talking about today, the ballot. So we basically are making space for all of our people within our organization, period. We make a space for everybody. Nobody should be underutilized. Everybody, if you're a revolutionary, you should commit your talents to the revolution, right? And this organization allows you to utilize your talents in a way that can get us free, period. So this week we're talking about the ballot. We're talking about the ballot. We're talking about voting and whatever other things pop up as it relates to the ballot. But we had a specific question this week, and it was, I believe it was, what was it?
Is it do you vote?
Yeah. Why don't black people vote? Oh no, why don't black people vote? What was the question, Tori? Give it to me.
Why black people really don't vote?
Yeah. Okay. Why black people really don't vote?
So I'm gonna go to the backstage. Of course, the charts. Statistics. Me and Travis was chopping. I ain't no doctor like hood scholar, but I do my best on a little research. And we got Birmingham, we got Detroit, we got Cleveland, we got St. Louis. Different composites, what their numbers were, and some charts to kind of back it up. So I'm gonna hand it over. I'm gonna go in the back. Love y'all, family.
Peace.
Finally,
he's gone. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
So again, we're talking about why black people really don't vote. So this electoral season, in politics in Birmingham, I was out there on the front lines helping one of our sisters out. And
shout out to Lita Soto. Woo!
Most definitely. And I asked people, so for the people I seen that weren't going to the polls, I asked them, why you ain't voting today? Why aren't you participating in politics? What's your reason? And they were able to ask me, and I give you guys my reason also. But most people said they either were felons and couldn't vote, and that's a big population here in Alabama, and that's a misconception, right? Because most people who are felons can vote, depending on what your felony is. You might be able to vote immediately just upon registering, right? And there's further steps to take if you're on a certain list. But most people who are felons can vote in Alabama. Who don't know that? Same thing with Florida. So many people, the laws changed where ex-felons can vote now, right? But the information is not getting out to the people. So that was one of the reasons why. Another reason people said they don't vote because they're tired of the system. They're fed up with it. They figure their vote doesn't matter. They figure no matter who is in place of power, that they're not going to do nothing that affects that person. So people are giving up on politics, so to speak. So those were the 2 main things that I seen, but we'll definitely dive into some more reasons why. But again, why black people really don't vote. My personal story.
Yeah. I was about to say, would you like to share?
Yeah, I think I've been withholding my vote just because in protest. So I hold my vote in protest. I don't agree with this system. I don't like America. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm trying to get rid of this system, and I just hold my vote in protest. With that being said, I've always encouraged those who do believe in the vote to vote. I've been out there on the front lines with organizations like Black Voters Matter, encouraging people to get out there and vote, and personally been out there with the organization TOPS, informing people that they have informing formerly incarcerated peoples that they have the right to vote in Alabama. Right. So, I'm an advocate if you believe in that. But if you don't, if you withhold your vote in protest, you in alliance with me, and I've ran into a few people who said that also. It's like, man, I just hold my vote in protest. I'm not voting because, it's what they say, the snake with two heads,
the lesser of two evils.
And that's another reason. That's one of the top reasons people don't vote also is just the lesser. They don't, they're not comfortable with always voting for the lesser of two evils.
Because it's still evil.
Still evil. Mm-hmm. All right. You want to add to that?
Yeah, well, my personal situation with voting is I was actually very excited about becoming a first-time show enough voter, Democrat voter. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, when I was 18, 2004, I did vote. But again, that's when the recount situation happened in Florida with Bush's brother being the governor of Florida at that time. Not sure who the governor is now, but I know at that time it was George Bush's brother. And they had the recount. So at that point, I was like, it's just some bullshit. Like, why? What are we recounting per se? And like I said, that was my very first time being able to vote, and it basically didn't count. I mean, you could just say that. It basically didn't count anyway. So at that point, like I said, that was 2004. I was over it. On top, already hearing prior that voting doesn't matter and it doesn't work and this and that. Like, it just reaffirmed that for me. So that's my personal story. But now, like we said, we worked on campaigns and things like that, and it's mostly been really like nonpartisan, because I'm not going to tell you who to vote for because I'm not doing it anyway. But if you decide to exercise that right, you always want to go for the person that has your best interests at heart, So I encourage those who want to vote to do so, and I stand in solidarity with those who don't want to do it in protest.
Yeah. And I do want to say, and just take the time to say, that voting is important, right? We vote on people who make the policy. We vote for people who make our laws, right? We're voting on different things like universal health care. That's something that will help our people. We're voting on things like getting rid of the bail system,
prisons, period,
so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, our votes can matter and should. But it seems when we do vote that at the end, like Malcolm X said, man, we vote for the Democratic Party, and they continue to not keep to their campaign promises, right? They promise us this, they promise us that, and continually over and over and over and over again, they don't stick to their camping promises, let alone help us get some type of liberation for ourselves or self-determination. They don't stick to their policies, and if we continue as a people, let me see the exact word that he used. He said he called us race traders. He said if we continue, he called us race traders and political chumps. He said if we continue to vote for these political parties that don't have our interest at hand, we're political chumps. We're race traders.
And it's not just don't have our interests at hand. It's time after time after time after time again. I mean, the first time Malcolm didn't blame you, okay, that you wanted to vote for somebody who you thought. Even the second time, maybe. But after that, it's like, nah. Like he said, you should know better at that point.
And one thing that he also pointed out is that the American minority, right, the black people or the minority voters usually dictate the outcome of races, right? So our vote does matter in a sense, right, for those who do vote, because it usually, look at Georgia, right? They credit black women specifically for getting out and vote and changing what Georgia looked like. I think it went from a red to a blue state. Here in Alabama, they credit black women specifically that came out in droves and voted for Doug Jones, right, and got him elected. And I've yet to see him stick to any of his campaign promises to black people. I doubt that he even had campaign promises to black people. Right.
What about the dude from Tuscaloosa? Your dude.
Again, again, we're political chumps if we continue to vote these people in, and they're not gonna better our education system, better our healthcare system, right? Erase this debt system, right? Mm-hmm. So again, these are reasons why we're not voting.
Okay, right. So our Rotori in the background doing some stuff. He has a chart for us. Put our stats up. Oh, snap, we got stats. Okay. All right.
Well, I got it. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Mm-hmm.
So, third way, they did a poll. They polled about 1,200 to 1,500 Black people before the 2020 election, and they had some dope charts and really went into depth. And so this is one of them breaking down where the issues laid by not this only Black people. Mm-hmm. That's all I care about. And it went by age, gender, and party identification and education, and then showing what they cared about.
Right.
And it was deep, man, because most Black people was worrying about something basic, how I'm gonna eat today type, like this one right here. They went to the top, making housing more affordable. That's the top one.
Right. A human right. We all should be able to have access to affordable housing.
Right. And habitable housing. Right.
Affordable health care.
Reducing racism.
We shouldn't even be asking for that at this point.
That's crazy.
So again, these are things that we put into our politicians' hand to help us with, but they don't. All these things. I don't know. I can't see the chart. My eyes kind of small, but you look up and down this chart and see that Black folks just want regular human rights. We still fighting for regular human rights
in 2021, right?
So what do we do? Tori, you want to chime in? What do we do? What's the plan? What's
the problem?
What's the problem? So again, if we know that voting is important, but our people just aren't coming out. I mean, and our people are coming out more than previous years. I do want to say that, but people just don't believe in this system. And I could just go down this a quick list of reasons why people say they're not voting. So you got voter suppression and disenfranchisement, period. We still have that going on today. We still have the incarceration, which fuels into the voter enfranchisement. You got them closing polling places. Alabama experiences that, them closing polling places in Black communities, making it harder for people to get to the polling places. Misinformation, right? So they put out misinformation about your access to polling places, IDs, and so on and so forth, and all the other misinformation they put out. They make it hard to vote with long lines, right? You can't get off work, right? They don't have no incentives for your boss to say, go ahead and get off work to vote. Candidates don't represent our interests, period. We know that, and that's time after time that happens. People are too busy or have conflicting schedules, right? So again, we be busy all day, and sometimes it is hard for people to get out and vote on those voting days, right? And sometimes the establishment makes that intentional. Look, we're gonna make sure you got a heavy workload today. My whole company has a heavy workload today. And companies like Amazon could do that because they be hiring whole towns, right? They can say, nah, y'all coming to work today, especially in Alabama. They might let folks off in this district. I mean, in this area, because it's a red or it benefits the establishment. Say, all right, y'all go vote today, but in this area, y'all not, right? So we don't have policy within these businesses to encourage people to get out there and vote. Illness and disabilities. So again, if you're sitting at home, you have a disability and you don't know you have the right to mail in votes or how to do that, right? You're not going to do it. Absentee votes. There was a problem. I'll get to the next one, but people are away from home, right? There was an issue with the college campuses. Are they going to vote on a college campus and in that district? When it comes to city councils and so on and so forth, are they going to vote at home? A lot of people have they conflict and they don't know the law with that. And they say, fuck it, I'm just not going to vote. So I'm not going to vote at home, or I'm not going to vote in this district on my college campus, because that's a voter block, of a whole big old college voter block right there in whatever town that college is in. But people don't know the law. So they be like, you know what? Fuck it, I ain't going to vote.
And they usually make you get an ID in that state You know what I'm saying? Anyway, wherever you're going to college at. So there you go.
And then the last one I got on my list is transportation issues. And I'm in the South. Some people don't have transportation issues, but in the South they do. We got, you can sit and try to wait for this bus or this or that.
To come every hour and a half
every hour.
something.
If you ain't got no ride, you might not go to the polls, and we built programs to pick people up to take them to the polls, but transportation issues. So those are some of the top things that we have where people say they don't vote.
It's the same here, man. I'm like, more like Z. When Obama ran, I was crying, and my little Obama shirt went to, oh man, we made it. I never forget, dog. Like, oh God, I was there. I was all the way up there. Young clown, we like this. It's the evolution of the revolution. It's all right. Man, I was straight. I was about to fight these people because they messed my order up on election night at McDonald's. I swear, I took the same. I threw that shit like, "Fuck y'all!"
And then we got a black president.
And then I was crying, and they was like, "What's?" I said, "Obama." And we was crying together. I'll never forget that, dog. And then they made my food, and I went home, and I was just crying like, "I hope he win." And then when he won, because I was working for the union. In the factory, we all had our Obama t-shirts, so we all playing. If he won, we was coming in and they won. Because all them white folk out, boy, they were so mad. We was in it. It was like a family union up in there. And man, dog, that nigga let me down, man.
Right.
Boy, I'm talking about you would have thought you found out that Big Mama was cheating on your grandfather and stealing all the money. That was the most heartbroken stuff. And then when Ferguson happened, dog, and Trayvon happened, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Oh my God.
All under his watch.
Killed it for me. I didn't even go to the White House meeting. They called me. I cussed the White House out and told them, tell Obama bring his black ass to Ferguson.
Right.
Come. You got cheers. I said you got cheers for Sandy Hook. But you ain't got tears for Trayvon. You ain't got tears for Tamir Rice and all that. So I'll try to bring me in, come, do some old eating and photo ops and shit. But that's the thing. Like here, we in 3 districts in St. Louis. It's the same way. So it's like we tried to go to the HBCU here because they in a district where it's well funded, but it's majority black. Mm-hmm. And if the HBCU vote, nigga, it's over. Mm-hmm. But they always had a white elected official in the city council, in the local city council. And when I went to the Negroes to try to tell them that, they was on the same thing the Republicans. I was like, oh, do they got an ID? This, I'm like, shit, nigga, this is a Democratic city. Like, what you mean?
Yeah.
Right outside of Ferguson, it's the same way. It's a whole liberal college out there, dog. And they refuse to allow them. Most of them people do not vote, and then they don't allow the organizers to go on campus. Mm-hmm. Right, so it be us. We do the rides. We take TT and them to the polls and do the medicine. So it ain't nothing, but it be us. It be the older black people. It be these white so-called liberals and progressives. And they team up with the Republicans in rural areas to keep us not being represented, not even representing ourselves. And so, shit, I'm like, y'all, and I'm chief of staff to alderman. I got about 3-4 people in office now. Some in the St. Louis area, some outside of it, work for political parties in Africa. Nigga, I do not vote, though. You're not going to get me to vote. Now, I'm going to put a nigga in, but I'm not voting. There ain't none of that on my thing. And then another part, and then I'm going to say this and get out the way, is like sometimes black people believe that our liberation is going to come through the ballot box.
Right.
And I'll be arguing with the black politicians and be like, yo, y'all can't do nothing to free me. All y'all can do is set the conditions for the people to free themselves. Mm-hmm. So we had our own housing and can go to the vacant lot and grow our own food and be able to put in these police brutality laws and all that. I'll be able to whoop the police ass, the white supremacist ass, and the corporations ass right here locally. But all my white socialists, Marxists, Leninists, progressive, liberal, Justice Democrats, they ain't down for that. They ain't gonna give you the funding. They might, give you $5 on a campaign, but they're not gonna fund black people being autonomous or self-determined to what liberation or the conditions to set politically gonna look like. So
yeah. You know what that really makes, just to speak on that, and I'm gonna get back on topic, but when we talk about land and freedom and self-determination and self-governance and these things amongst white revolutionary or leftist circles, it makes them uncomfortable. Right. It's hard for them to hear that, Africans here in America
don't want to be
a part of America or or we want access to land, right, and self-determination on that land. But they'll go and say free Palestine, right? They'll go and say
free everywhere else besides us, basically, besides us.
And it's solidarity with Palestine. They'll say the indigenous community of Venezuela, and they'll MST in Brazil. So they associate land with everybody else but us here in America, right? So a part of the IBFA is to decolonize the mind state, right? We're trying to decolonize that. And our actions can help decolonize their mind state because they don't think we allowed to have access to land or fight for self-determination. We fighting to get rid of this. If we did have our revolution or this world revolution, we still would want self-determination at the end. Even if y'all get rid of all the so-called white folks and white supremacy, at the end, we still want self-determination. All right.
Yeah, that's all right.
So just back to our topic of the ballot. Listening to the Ballot of the Bullet by Malcolm X, that's really I
like listening. He's so cocky. He's very on point, but he's very nonchalant and cocky. But it gets you. It puts you there. It puts you in the emotion that he wants you to be at. So I can always appreciate listening to Malcolm's speeches.
Right, and it seemed like he was talking to us today. Right. Same things that have been reiterated over time, still applies to us today. We need to control the politics in our community, period. If it's a black community, man, we got to have our people in a position of power to affect our education, right? To affect our healthcare system, to affect the hospitals that we predominantly go to, right? We need politicians to get in to do our bidding, so to speak. That's what Malcolm X said. He said that we have to, as a people, become more politically mature, right? So we have to, I don't care if you're not voting or voting, have a reason behind the madness. And if you're not voting, you're obligated almost to help build some programs to make a difference within the community because you're consciously withholding your vote that probably can help a little bit with the healthcare system or getting rid of some of these systems that we're against, right? So again, becoming politically mature, he talked about political education. So again, this is a part of what we're doing right now for the IBFA. This short session that we do is a part of political or revolutionary education. We have to know what we're doing. We have to know where we're going. We have to know how to get there. And that involves political education, right? Not just politics, but in every aspect of life. We're talking about growing food. We're talking about raising our children. We're talking about birthing our children. All this has to do with politics. It's politics in every move and everything that we do. So just political education and just the why and the what we're doing and what our ancestors did is important. One of the things he also said was elect politicians from amongst our ranks, right? So again, we need to be molding politicians for our positions of power. We need to know how to play the long game. Right. We need to stop just going to grab somebody who looks good, talks well, has money, says, look, I want you to run for city council and we're going to put this support behind you. No, we need to be raising people from amongst our ranks, like Tori. Like Tori said, man, we need to hit some of these college campuses and, try to politically educate some of these political science majors, right, who are going to get out and probably want to get into politics.
And everybody, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying everybody has a role to play. Even, I'm going to speak as an educator. Even those parents or mothers or fathers that are always at the schools all the time or always know the logistics of what's going on at the school. Those are the ones who need to be running for school board. They already know what's happening. They actually care about what's happening. Even the uncle or the elder that stops all the conflict in the neighborhood. That could be our next sheriff or whatever kind of conflict resolution we have in our community. That person needs to do that. We have everything we need in our community already. We just have to identify and support.
Right. And he talked about how people would say, the odds are stacked against us, And even though this was a bougie revolution, and I'm finna quote, it was a revolution indeed, with the 13 colonies going against the British Empire, right? It wasn't that many white folks over here to fight this whole big old British Empire. The odds were stacked against them. But in 1776, they signed a Declaration of Independence, and most of us know that tragic history. But they were stacked against the odds, and they still went for it. So again, us here in America, man, us black folks here, we've always been stacked against the odds in everything that we do. So it that's not an excuse. So when we're talking about revolution, we're talking about change, we're talking about the survivability of our people in the future. I don't care if the odds are stacked against me. I'm gonna speak up. I'm gonna take some action and do what I got to do what we have to do. Period. And again, I just want to share. That was Malcolm X's philosophy with the ballot. And again, he said, stop supporting these folks that don't support us. Period. Raise leaders amongst our ranks. We need to create, like I was talking to Baba early, one of our Babas here in Birmingham, and he said he always votes third party. We need to start building. We need to. I don't want to say start building our own parties, but that's what we need to do, man. We need to build our own damn parties and take over the systems, right? And we can take over systems locally, county wise, and state wise, federally, and move on up, right? But we need to do this. So I just want to share the IBFAs. Again, we're talking about different pathways to get to our freedom as it relates to the IBFA, International Black Freedom Alliance. So I just want to read off the philosophy of the ballot, or do you want to do that for me?
Oh, no, you can. I'll keep you back off of that.
All right. So what I did, but it's good. So the philosophy of the ballot from the IBFA, and you can find this information on the website also. So it said, for those of us who believe that we can create the conditions for Black freedom best through organizing our vote, this campaign would look like organizing Black voting blocks, reparation platforms, and political parties who advocate for policies that improve the lives of the masses of our people everywhere. Okay. So with this pathway, I'm gonna continue. So objective 1, create campaigns that utilize our vote as leverage so that we as a people can receive reparations, separation, and or sovereignty from Western countries. Objective 2, create or strengthen Black political parties that will govern with Pan-Africanism and Ubuntu as their political identities in the Caribbeans and African nations. Okay. So again, the main 3 things that the IBFA want to do is, we want, if you're into the electoral politics, we want to create Black voter blocks. And that could be as simple as going to the Black Belt, into some of these smaller towns, and revolutionary education to the people and help them do these voter blocks, understand the importance of voter blocks. Same thing in New York, wherever, we want to create Black voting blocks where we can have some political leverage, a little bit of political power. Of course, especially as a conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa, reparations is important. And reparations, we're talking about financial reparations, but most of all, we're talking about land. Yes. Right? We can do the rest. We got the rest, right? So again, and platforms similar to that, we're talking about reparations. We have to keep that at the forefront of our movement because it's owed to us. And I do keep in mind that no one has ever got reparations without going to war. Right. Right. So we got to go to war in whatever capacity that means to you. Right. And strengthening or creating our own political parties. I'm not sure how we feel about that. What political parties we should be strengthening at this moment. We do have some bright spots within a revolutionary circle. People are some of our comrades have been getting people elected. Yes. But we do need a party, man. We need an international party, and we do have some out there, So, I'm not going to name them right now because they don't be naming us. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm
not today. Anyways, we're here to educate
back
people.
On track,
we're not here to educate them. Look, to
be petty. Go be petty. No,
right.
No. I had that same argument with a debate with Dr. Jared Ball because I felt the same way, right? So when I was like, yo, look, 2016, I'm like, yo, we need to be gearing up for 2018 and 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up reaching out to the Ujima People's Progress Party out in Maryland. So we ended up rapping. I didn't know that there was a black-led worker party that they created in Baltimore to try to go get these seats. And it's interesting in their philosophy. They say the same thing, like, yo, I'm not going to get free through the ballot box. Excuse me, but I should control my local resources.
Right.
Like damn, I can't get no trash service. I can't get my trash picked up. Like, come on, this basic. And the only reason why we don't have it is because in these majority black cities, like in the St. Louis or in a Birmingham or in a Mobile or Detroit, is that we don't run it. Shit, even in Detroit, they just reelected a white man to be the mayor again. But because you done have so many Negroes running to the ground, or the government has targeted them like Kwame Kilpatrick and other people, right? Because if you run it like white people already know the game. So you got to do something like Chokwe Lumumba. You got to do something kind of more revolutionary, even though you're in the system. So
yeah, he was one of them, if not the best at that. Serious.
It ain't the sun ain't the same, but
no.
Y'all sincerely.
My bad. We're educating people.
Taking shots again.
We're not taking shots. I mean, we just gotta be honest.
No, it's real. He's in a position,
right?
He's in a position to stop the police. He had a police killing. Every month. I think the first week that he got in there, he had a crime against a brother in the Nation of Islam, and nobody did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things that go on. I mean, as a movement, we should be able to have these conversations. Especially, this 4-5 years in. So I mean, people talk where I am, who I am, you're gonna be who you be. So we have to have our own agenda, our own mandates that forces or you sticking to the plan. You don't get in there doing what you feel on Tuesday. Don't feel nothing but the plan.
Stick to the code.
No, that's right. You're so funny. I love it.
And just to take a second to shout out the Jackson Kush plan. That is a good example of how we can build some political power. They came together. They had this plan, and they part of that plan was to run political candidates out of their ranks. So, like I say, organizations. I think the Malcolm X grassroots movement was the help facilitate this and create all of this, and they did. We got Chokwe Lumumba as a city council member, right? And again, put some resources behind him, put their boots on the ground, and he got elected. And he was also able to get elected in 2013 to the mayor position, right? Unfortunately, he passed away, but that's a good example of how we can create some power if we just organize and bring leaders from amongst our ranks. And I believe he stuck to the plan. He always stuck to the plan.
Right.
He's been sticking to the plan since the 60s.
Right.
And
that's why he caught so much hell. But hey, he was able to defend his shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got I wish my boy Keon was on here. We got
bald head itself.
I'm gonna leave on that one. I'm gonna let y'all take all that heat on that.
He gonna go backstage.
No, but seriously, Spirit House has a they have an example of conflict resolution, right? I can't think of the name, but if you have an issue within your community, especially with people in movement, you can go to these councils, right? They hear you out and they give recommendations. They have elders to go to, right? So if we can mimic some of these things and start some self-governance amongst ourselves, and especially if you're not advocate of voting, right?
Right.
These are the type of things that we're gonna need. We're gonna need people. If we ain't voting, we can't defund the police and all this type of stuff, or we can't show that we have the power to make some difference within the city if they don't defund the police. So we got to set up things like conflict resolution. And we have an example of that with one of our bobbers here in Birmingham. We got a 24-hour number you can call. If it's some smoke, if you see some smoke, man, he'll come out and he'll try to, him and his brothers who are dedicated to this, will try to come out and defuse the situation.
Shout out to Baba, Walter, and Ronnie.
Right. So again, if you got some brothers look like they finna shoot at each other, and you able to call this brother, and he gonna come out and he gonna stand and say brothers, and do his work. Again, 2, 3 in the morning. And love. Yes. So these are some of the examples of things we can do. You can you can organize with the Provisional Government Republic of New Africa, right? You can. That's a nice plug. Nice plug. All right, but I mean, you can get in line with that. Again, we're talking about self-determination. Right. Let's practice this. Right. Let's do the mission. Let's concentrate our people in these areas so we can take power through our political vote. Right. If we got all of our revolutionary people moving to Mississippi, specifically, and voting this way in voter blocks, maybe we can get rid of whoever we want to. And then once we get our people in power, we could fire the whole police station, right? Put an investigation on everybody, right? And get rid of the whole police station and hire new and come with new programs and different things. So these are some of the things that our vote can do. But I do want to give Tori, I know they worked hard on these charts and these visuals. So I do want to give them a chance to put these charts and stuff back up. So if you want to throw that chart back up there one more time so we can talk about it. Just do it. They in the back doing their magic.
There we go. So Tori, you want to explain that to us one more time for those who weren't watching?
So
the first time.
Somebody had a bright idea to poll voters right before the 2020 election to try to figure out where the things overlay, where the things divide, and what could be the understanding that came from it. So what was broken down, I don't know if you can see this chart. It's probably too small, but
no, it's good.
The majority of issues for Black people, and all the charts you're gonna see is none on nothing but Black people issues. Is that the majority of our issues is like you said, affordable housing, affordable health care. Third, reducing racism. I would have said ending that shit, but they said just reducing it. Improving voter and air quality, making college affordable, creating more higher paid jobs, making the ends meet. How many times Black folk, that's it. And all those in the 60s, fighting income, reducing taxes on the working class, improving public school, and the last one is Medicaid for all and closing the wealth gap. All those things are 60% or better. So, that's something. And so when you break it down by age, then you can start seeing who's saying it. Is it the younger people? Is it men compared to women? All of those things. And so these start to break down where and which, how we thinking, and where our own community divide, and where we start organizing our own community on these issues. I'm gonna see if this one's big enough right here. Yeah, so this one was the most interesting one right here. Fewer than half of Black people identify as strong Democrats. So you can see 46% say, yeah, I'm a Democrat. Everybody else, a weak Democrat. And then almost, 25% of us like, I ain't no damn Democrat. I might vote Democrat, but I don't identify with nothing that they talking about.
Right.
Because when it came down to it, the number one issue was to stop Trump. It wasn't, the number one issue for voters wasn't because they love the Democratic agenda, wasn't because, Joe Biden was just lit out here and None of that. You know, it wasn't because Simone Sanders and the rest of them and Latasha, which they did their thing in this election cycle.
Oh,
They
yeah.
was magicians. They propped up an old racist white man and had people actually vote for him. And, you know, shout out to them because they magicians. But we need them magicians locally and at the state level. Abracadabra. To make our own people to come out. And so if get rid of Trump is the number one issue for black people, not only do the Democrats have a problem, but black people have a problem because we didn't set forth no issue or nothing to really say, look, this is what we need and this is how we should approach it moving forward. So, I mean, you know, I think Cube tried to do something. I thought it was quite dope. People said he did something too late. You know, Ice Cube, if you see this, you know, holla at the IBFA.
Yay.
On us to go around the country so we don't make the same mistake in 2022. Yeah. That we can push the agenda. It's cool for rappers and entertainers to push that on the national level in the media. But the vast majority of us on the ground ain't never seen that website.
Yeah.
So organizers, community organizers to be on the ground, to be in the hood, be in the community, getting it in. I think I found one more chart, and it was really crazy. I think it's this one. The majority of black people live in the suburbs or small towns or rural areas. I found this to be insane. We are concentrated in the urban city, but most of us ain't even there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I feel like when a lot of times when they talk about urban issues and some of the thing, you know, the majority of us don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
You know, you talking about, they probably, you know, the Democrats to say food deserts. The majority of black people saying, shit, if you could just give us our money for our agriculture and our farm, we'd be all right.
We can get rid of our own food that y'all created these food deserts.
Right.
You all sustain these food deserts. If we give us what's due to us, we can
do it on
get rid of it, you know. So again, so it seems like black voters specifically, we just want our basic human rights. Maybe we want affordable health care, access to affordable housing,
education,
clean water, and food. Education wasn't even on there. I didn't even see. A college, right?
At 9, it was like 8 or 9. Let me go.
And so again, it's like
I think improving public schools was on there. Is it?
Let me make it bigger.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
improving public schools still in the 60s.
10. It was the 10th on the list. 10.
Yeah.
So
we college is that's shit. How we eat.
That's crazy.
You know, so again, we just want things that seem
that
to
they
be
wanted in the 60s.
Human rights. You know, and a lot of these things, you know, I'm a separatist or black nationalist or whatever, man. But a lot of these things we can create ourselves. You know, we can create bomb educational systems if it was legal. Right. A lot of this stuff, you know, we can do this ourselves. We shouldn't even have to depend on a school board to educate we should have our community education centers. Because
have they been doing it? Hell no.
They haven't. You know, they failed us. At least our people, talking about black folks, they mostly fail us when it comes to like I say, I've always lived in the hood, man. Everywhere we moved, all the spots we stayed in Mobile, Birmingham, California, been in the hood, in hood schools. I've yet to see like, you know, a shining, a bright example of like these hood schools scholastically, right. Unless, you know, you got some exceptions, you know, unless they got a bomb ass football team and they're like, oh yeah, we like y'all got a bomb football team every year, so we're gonna shoot y'all some resources. We're gonna give y'all some programs. But most of these hood schools, they're not getting their fair. You know, but
shout out to girl. Is he still Coach Pierce? Oh, look, I'm playing this football.
Right, look, we ain't going there right now, y'all.
No, but seriously,
I mean, that's the thing. Some are the same way. Long Beach Poly, we got the Shine here. You got hood schools all over, and so
we got Hoover over here. Yep.
Y'all got Hoover. We got East St. Louis.
Yeah.
We got East St. Louis, one of the poorest districts in the world. I mean, in the country. I think 80% of those people are underemployed. A whole city with 20, 30,000 people, 80% of them ain't got no full-time job.
Yeah. Right, but they want your baby though.
And it's so funny that they probably don't have enough jobs to employ everybody anyway.
Right. If everybody wanted to work.
So again, if everybody who was able to work did want to work, y'all wouldn't have them jobs for them anyway. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's systematic. You know, so it's systematic. It ain't like, people do want to work, but people tired of fucking breaking their damn backs
for nothing.
People's tired of getting burnt at McDonald's, they fingertips and all that, tired of getting spit on and cussed out by customers.
Right, and then you get 39 hours instead of 40, so you can't get your healthcare benefits and shit
they got so many stories of folks going to work sick. Even during Corona time, they going to work sick and got to pretend that they're straight. Going to the bathroom to cough and throw up, coming out the bathroom fixing our food because they can't get off.
You can't afford to be off. Can't afford to get sick.
Right. You know, so black people got to say them sick days for when we feel good.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't play with us like that.
Them feel good days because we're gonna come to work sick. They got to sit there, but for real though, poor people across the board. You know, you got to send us home when we sick.
Right.
We still gonna come to work, and that still holds true during COVID. Right. That still holds true. Like most people still gonna show up to work because they,
maybe even more so now.
Yeah, you got to send it. Almost got to send them home.
Don't take my sick day. Send me home. Don't count this. This y'all, not me.
So again, some of these things. So again, for our people for our population that don't vote, and this, I believe, 40. I don't know. I'm not going to throw no stats out there, but for our population that don't vote and our population that do vote, we only voting one time a year. One time every couple years in some cases. We ain't voting. So again, the work that needs to be done is the work in between time, right? So if we're not building no programs, if we're not educating people on our healthcare system, I'm talking about our people that are healthy, right? That never even go to the doctor, never even got to see the doctor. If you're not educating them on the state of our healthcare system, they become victims later on. Right. We got to educate people on the outside of election season. We got to get people motivated outside of election season. We got to have programs being built outside of election season. Right. We got to have these organizations that show up to your door and they be saying we with this and with this. We need them active outside of the election season, educating people on why. Making sure the people who are disenfranchised because they were formerly incarcerated know that they can vote now, or how you can get your vote back. You know what I'm saying? If they're making it hard and they're closing polling stations, this is the time for us to make an uproar and get more polling stations in Birmingham, Mobile, in these rural places. Don't wait till election time and complain about the damn polling stations.
Because we know what's going to happen already, statistically. Let's
get it done now. So some of the stuff that we can do ourselves now, and I'm with it, even though as a non-voter, I'm with all that. I'm with all the smoke when it comes to these folks. I'm gonna jump in any fight against these folks. So again, this is the time now when we're not voting for shit that we supposed to hold these motherfuckers accountable. What voices, Tori, and you probably be more into the political realm than we do, but what voices are challenging Biden right now? Who's holding him accountable for his?
I forgot his ass was y'all.
You forgot about him because
I forgot his ass was president.
Everybody said that, but that's the thing. It's like it's a double-edged sword. So it's like. I get it. History has shown us that, black men, I don't want to say all, and I ain't even saying half or some, a few Negroes run to the oppressor trying to get a little job, right?
Right.
Of our women. And so now the reactionary or the knee-jerk reaction is now the sisters running to the same white man who done that sin. And they say, well, y'all left us out the political thing, and now I'm in here and I'm going to do something different. Well, shut up, let Biden get in, and then we can hold him accountable. But what day did that start? What time that start? Because I'm trying to see what time that start, and it ain't happening. And it's like, they had the Good Trouble March, Tamika Mallory, and Until Freedom. That's about the most public thing I done seen somebody say. Tamika was like, she said something like, I ain't worried about the Republicans. I ain't vote for you. I'm worrying about the Cory Bookers who up here smiling laughing, talking about we not trying to defund the police and gave the police a raise. I'm talking to Joe Manchin and Joe Biden. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's the only thing that I've seen publicly, because the rest of these Negroes waiting on a grant.
Yeah,
waiting for some some get out the vote money, some voter education.
Yeah.
And it's like, that can't be the thing. Like you said, like, we could be knocking doors like, yo, what's up? You know, no, you don't care about the election? Cool. Hey, man, we got some food and some mash. You want some of that? Yeah, all right, cool. Hurry. We would
fish fry always works.
Yeah.
And it don't take much. It don't take nothing to do a fish fry, okay? For real, and to educate the people. That's nothing.
No.
We got to take these stamps and do something probably Sunday.
Hey, don't look.
And also, too,
we welcome you, brother. We welcome you.
We need to know. We need to know what. Excuse me. We need to know what accountability looks like. You know, we need some examples of our people holding somebody accountable, and we can say, look, them folks over there held they city councilmen accountable. We finna do what they did.
I hate to say it, but goddamn, we may have to link up with the LGBTQ and ask them what the hell. Hey, hey, because y'all got shit done. I don't give a fuck who feel like what. Okay,
they be doing it, but that's the thing, right? We still they got the resources to actually execute that thing. So at the same point, yeah, they oppressed and that's messed up. But where we at, we don't even get the resources to fight back, and like you in a bloodless way. We can't even be non-confrontational directly. Right. We can't even say, look, like Jim Clyburn. Oh my God, that nigga gotta go. He got to go. Yeah. I'm gonna walk through South Carolina in his district myself until I find some young person to run against it. Because that nigga gotta go. He was just talking today or yesterday. He said that because Biden was like, we're gonna get 3.5 trillion, for the COVID to get through the fall and the winter. And he was like, that's a negotiation point. That ain't the floor. That's the ceiling. We got some people saying 1.5. It can be 1.5 or 3. I'm like, nigga, this ain't even your money.
Right.
Let that. Oh, you one of them. Oh, okay.
Right.
You got to put grandpa out of his misery. You got to send him home because he ushered in Biden. He the same one that ushered in Biden. He the same one saying, "Oh, we don't need to defund the police."
Right.
But he's the same one Kenneth Ferguson said he got beat up by the police and tear gas and all that too. Well, they must have lumped you up so bad you forgot who lumped you up.
Right.
But that's that bullshit like Kamala ass talking about she listening to Tupac and Snoop Dogg. That's your way of fucking relating to us. Right. And that's insulting as hell because that ain't the way that you relate to me with that shit. You feel me? Don't come to the hood talking about you got a fucking game banger uncle or some shit like that. And then you feel me? And then go over here to these other people all fucking bougied out. Like, no. No.
You impress me. Say you listen to Malcolm X.
Right.
Tell me you say, yeah, I'm in college. I'm Marcus Garvey every day. I wake up. You tell me that shit.
And I'll say the Bookman prayer every day I wake up.
Hey, hell no, because the mayor, right? We were sitting in the office at the in Pritchard. And the mayor, we revolutionary. Everybody know we revolutionary. The mayor gonna turn around on his bookshelf and get his Matulu book off the bookshelf.
Okay.
Like he read, bro. We laughed at him like, bro, we know goddamn well you ain't read that book. Because you wouldn't be talking to us like this, bro.
And Pritchard wouldn't be looking like this.
You wouldn't be acting like this if you read that book. Just because it's on your shelf, don't play with me, bro. Don't bring your props out to try to make me feel good.
That shit was glossy as hell, okay? So you know damn well he ain't
used. Came right off Amazon.
Nah,
right. I appreciate you having it on your bookshelf and all, but stop it.
Let me borrow that, matter of fact. Right. You ain't using it.
And ain't gonna use it.
Ain't gonna use it.
So again, man, we're not against voting.
But again, this is just one of the pathways, like we said.
And we do think it's power in it. If we're able to hold accountable the leaders that we elect, it's power in it if we're able to elect people of our choice.
Right.
Again, I said something about them having a monopoly on the system. The Democrats and the Republicans have a monopoly. They're getting all the money, they're getting all the resources, they're getting all the brilliant minds.
And they in bed together.
And like I said, they in bed together. Individually, with one of these parties, we could win. You know, if I turned to Black Republican today, bro, I'll probably get up there, man, and really be cooning and this and that. And they put me on platforms, you know, dancing the jig, but I can make it. But my people won't.
Right.
My people will still be back here. Same thing with the Democrats. I can make it all the way up to being the president, proven at this point. And that's not a reflection of my people coming up. Right. So we have proof that a black president won't even change the minds or change the conditions of our people. And almost in any fashion. I can't even name, except like I say, the only thing Obama did was
not embarrassing.
He kind of did, if you look deep, but just look good. He just looked good.
Let's be for real.
That show is a beautiful family.
A strong black family.
And Michelle did do the damn thing when she moved her mama in the White House. That was some black shit.
Yeah, because you know, the mother,
Big Mama got
the wife gonna move her mama in. The mama come.
You know?
Love it.
So again, he you know, we got to stop with the we got to stop being tricked. And if we're allowed to elect our own people, and if we're allowed to raise our own leaders up from out of our ranks, without the Democratic or the Republican Party being in the way, I think we can win.
How about the popular vote just counting? That'll work.
Or just to vote each vote. One vote.
You feel me? All that electoral and all that other shit. We don't need that. You know what I'm saying? You already know some bullshit when that come into play anyway. Yeah.
That's that old South racism,
right?
North racism compromise. You know, where right. And then you can count everybody in America twice from your phone. So you don't need no electoral college to have no representation. You know,
man, we just need freedom, man. Like I say, when our folks had to, when we were freed, right? We didn't have a choice, you know, which means we weren't really freed, right? They just ushered us to a new system of racism, of slavery, of oppression, you know. So until my dying breath, I'm gonna fight for that right to self-determination that my ancestors weren't able to see, and we're gonna continue to do that. And hopefully, through the IBFA, we'll be able to facilitate a Pan-African, you know, a strong Pan-African alliance, you know, throughout this world, right? And just, you know, continue to try to live and organize by our philosophy Ubuntu. You know, I am because we are. It only work if we all, you know, if it only work if we all in this, right? I'm responsible for you. You're responsible for me. My actions, so on and so forth. My actions affect the whole community. Right. The community's actions affect me. Yeah. So we just want to continue to build, continue to do this. And like I say, man, this week was the ballot. So we encourage everybody to hold those, you know, we ain't even gonna say hold the leaders accountable right now. We're gonna hold those organizations who ushered those leaders into those positions accountable to hold their leaders accountable.
And do this in your everyday life. We could go. Yeah, the people that are around you, period. If y'all not holding each other accountable either, you ain't no way in hell you're gonna be able to tell a city council person any damn thing. You can tell your brother or your damn comrade something, you know what I'm saying? So you can, there's no way. You stupid. But anyway.
I'm cool.
Sidebar, another episode. Right. That's a different episode. But seriously, if you can't hold your folks accountable, ain't no way in hell you marching up to nobody's office or city hall or nothing else like that, trying to tell them what to do.
It don't even take all that. It just take, you know, I've seen it myself, you know, like here in St. Louis, now that we got a couple people, you know, they ain't me or nothing like that, but they do their thing. And, you know, John Muhammad, Ferguson protester, worked for a little small municipality. He ended up doing an interview with Fox when the police officer got shot during the Ferguson protest. And he went on Fox Live, and they was like, well, what do you think happened? He said, shit, the police probably shot him. He said, you think the police would shoot their own? He's like, it's America. They've done that a million times. Oh, they fired him.
Yeah.
Next week, they was voting to remove his little clerk job and all that. So, but he became the youngest elected official in the history of St. Louis. I ran this campaign. So it's like that brother, right? You know, it's a thing in there. I seen 5-10 people walk into an office and then scare an elected official. It don't take a whole bunch of people. They just need to see 5-10 people organized that can out-organize them.
Yeah.
Right.
You can whoop any city council. You can take any city council seat with 10 people working against them.
Yeah.
Right. We've seen. Yeah.
So
we've seen that. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like I say. I think the problem comes in is just when people are so selfish they can't see the bigger picture. So it's no way in hell that in Birmingham 5 people with almost the same political line. You know, I can see it was like a Republican. Right. I understand how you got to change. You know, but it's like 5 Democrats with the same political line running for this one district. Instead of saying, look, man, sister or brother, I support you. We're gonna put all of our support, us 6 people that's running, we're gonna put our support behind you, and we'll try to fit in where we fit in elsewhere.
Or whoever win this damn
you know,
thing,
so again, you see this across the nation where we can't, it's hard for us to come together. So that's one of that's one of the things that we're trying to solve in our community with this organization is how do we come together in a cohesive way that builds everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody is just as important as everybody, you know. So, or whoever the chair is of this, or the president is of that, you know, is just as important as the sister or brother that bought the snacks and that's in the kitchen heating up the tea for the meetings and all that type of shit. Everybody important.
And I was just gonna segue to the healing part. Like, I think the reason why we so apprehensive with each other is because as Black people, we tired of taking losses. Yeah. We tired of seeing our people before us take losses. My mama, my dad, my grandparents, you know, so it's hard to trust. That's like a thing with all of us, I believe. And that healing, that's something we definitely gonna have to tap into. We're talking about building together, like seriously building civilizations and all these things like that, politics and education, where we trusting each other with each other's children, all that kind of stuff. We have to get rid of these traumas and these bullshit stereotypes too that we have about each other. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing, a big obstacle for us.
And man, we got political trauma, right? We vote for these motherfuckers and they don't do shit, and then we do it again and we do it again. And the older we get, especially our people who believe in the system, y'all got political trauma.
Right.
Like I say, man, we fucked up just by the politics because we don't see shit happen. And again, look how much trauma you got. And your story ain't the only story like that with Obama. Y'all stories, I done seen some people like, look at me. That's trauma.
It is.
That's trauma, bro. That's when you think about it now. It's like, damn, how can I trust another politician? How can I trust another Black face?
And
another
it was black.
politician?
And it was Black. Oh man,
you know
Obama.
So again, we have political trauma that we have to deal with as Black folks. You know, especially the people who vote. You know, the people who are withholding their vote right now, the people who are trying to heal, you know, but we have to deal with that also. I just want to throw that out there, man. That popped in my head. And
on the opposite end, it's the same thing like a relationship. It's a trauma bond. Shit, you know, people Democrats, because, you know, the Republicans hurt you so bad way back when, and you wouldn't even move from this spot.
Yeah.
Trump hurt so many people. That shit, they was gonna vote Democrat no matter what.
No matter what, right?
They was voting against Trump.
Yeah,
it was just traumatic to hear somebody. And then, you know, my father, he 50 years older than me, so he like almost 90, bro. He like, what? You ain't gonna vote? I said, Dad, I don't even vote no more. What? I don't live with you, so can't put me out. So, and then I'm a little fast. You ain't gonna catch me, you know. So he was just like. When I heard Trump talk, man, that's remind me of being in Alabama when I was a little kid in the 40s. Yeah, I'm like, damn, bro. He's like, yeah. He's like, man, that shit was, you know, fucked up. He's like, you know, he say the same shit. That's a trauma bond. That mean I'm voting Democrat because I don't want the slave master to be over the government.
Right.
Slave master to be in there no more. And so we gotta be able to heal from those, but also create, you know, relationships, political relationships, and formations that mean something. Where you in a healthy relationship, when you ain't worried about what's not gonna happen, where you more optimistic of what can happen and what's supposed to happen for you and your people.
Right. Again, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Real talk. Like some of us, and I hate to say it, but we family, so I'm gonna talk to y'all. America.
America. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac.
Right. But it's that's it right there. Because some of those, I didn't even gave up on some of them. It's like, like what the, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us is pretty messed up. Where it's gonna take about 30 more damn years to heal our asses.
Mm-hmm.
For us to be really intentionally involved with our whole heart into whatever we doing. Without thinking, oh shit, are they out to get me? If I tell them this, if I cry in front of them, are they gonna tell some damn body? All of that, like that's, I don't know. We dealing with all of those things while trying to get free at the same time.
That's a fact, and that's where we are. So for us and IBFA, we got to think about one, capturing the person before they become broken, right? So a lot of people have been burned by these movements. People will co-op, people like free the land back. And then you get there and they own something different. Now you hurt.
Yeah.
You go to this organization, they run it like a dictatorship. No space for you to grow. Now you just one of the calls. And if you don't do this, they're gonna talk down. They broken. So before they get all the way broken, say, hey, look, come pull up, ho. Come here, go to Keon, go to Kai, go talk to Mama Julia. If you need some of that, now you can come back into it. And then another thing is we got to catch these people when they're waking up.
Right.
Black Lives Matter and Ferguson and Trayvon and Shamir. There's so many people woke up and active, and now they like, what now? Because it ain't no protest. It's like, damn, you ain't know the Panthers, you don't know MOVE, you don't know the Black Liberation. They don't know it. So then you got to capture them, because if not, they'd be part of BLM. They'd be somewhere being Democrats. They'd be somewhere
electric sliding,
doing this. I will play that right now. I might run it back at the end of this shit.
Oh my goodness!
But, and then the last and not least is, the crazier part really is that we have to be able to unify with those who are well enough to build the space and the organization and the process and the plan and agenda in which people can come into it and be their fullest self.
Right.
Without that conflict, right? So with the voting Negroes ain't got to fight with the money Negroes, and the money Negroes ain't got to fight with the activists and the protest Negroes, and the people that want to go back to Africa ain't being called cowards and you running away by the Black nationalists. We should be able to come together and say, okay, y'all going over there, you might do economics over there, but I might want to do it here. Who trading? Because this kind of off subject, but I was watching Idi Amin, and he made the speech to Queen of England, basically like, yo, give me all my shit back. Yeah. I found out that the British put the Asians, particularly the Indians, in Uganda as a merchant class. Right? So there was 80,000 people out of 10 million, and there was 95% of all the economy in the country. And they was getting all their goods from England. So they was intentionally supplying them and retail and resale and factories and all that. So when it go down, they couldn't whoop the white people. You would have to create another enemy. And so it's like, we have to be able to be smart enough to do that locally, nationally, and internationally, to work together without that conflict. Because then niggas, it'd be tribalism on steroids.
Right.
All right, I got a little slide. So if anybody, you see it and be like, yo, I want to do something, right? So we got 5 steps. So one, we want to build a national political agenda. So in order to organize people towards something, we got to build something and then go out to say, look, you fuck with that or no? Then we want to hold a national convention to vote and get the consensus for the world and the public to see that Black people are self-organized. So it ain't no Ice Cube did it too late. No, we've been on this. Then we got to go educate the people who wasn't at the convention, who don't know nothing about the agenda, and go into the community and actually educate people. Once they get educated, we can have these blocks. You don't win without Black Voters Matter in Georgia. That block need to be organized to take over the state of Georgia, to take over the city council in Atlanta, and it's a South Fulton and these other places. And last but not least, that's the mobilization part. So when 2022 come, we can get Clyburn out and put somebody else in. Or we can hold the pre-existing Democrats accountable to what we believe in. So we can build the agenda, get a convention, get a consensus, move a block of voters, then get it. And then we can walk down freedom, as the elders would say.
I like it. I like it.
Close us out, family, and then I'm going to go into the propaganda.
We appreciate that, Baba Tory Russell.
I feel old now. OG of the protest, 7 years in.
Right. Ooh, we've been there. Right.
All right. So I guess to close us out, we encourage everybody to go look up this information that we shared with you. We encourage everybody to go to the IBFA.org, I believe, is it?
Yeah. ORG. Yeah.
IBFA.org. We encourage everybody to share this video. We encourage everybody to hit us up.
Look up your voting situation in your state and how things are supposed to go if you decide to vote.
And I ask everybody just start the conversation on what do we do next? What do we do now? What should we be organizing? And if you get lost, hop on the website again, hit one of us up, and we can help you out on your way in that step.
Talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents about this kind of stuff. These are good conversation pieces, honestly.
But we do encourage you to be a conscious voter or a conscious non-voter, and not just voting just because, or not voting just because, right? So we want these to be conscious decisions. We love y'all. Black Power.
Peace and power. Have a good week.
Take us out, Bob.
What if we had the power to bring every black leader throughout history together in this day and age? What could we accomplish? What if we brought the radical mobilizing of Dr. King together with the unapologetically black organizing of Malcolm X? What if we used the political ideas of Fannie Lou Hamer and put it with the successes of Julius Nyerere, Patrice Lumumba, and Maurice Bishop? What if we created an entirely new economic system based on the philosophies of Dr. Claude Anderson, Muammar Gaddafi, and Thomas Sankara? How many black Wall Streets do you think would exist today? And what if we created an organization in the transformational ways that Ella Baker did, or even a movement like Winnie Mandela did to end apartheid? How strong of a people would we be if a movement or an organization like that existed today? Now, what if I told you that we've already started?